In the quiet town of Enderby, Leicestershire, where manicured lawns meet brick facades and everyday life flows with predictable British precision, a seemingly ordinary garage harbored an extraordinary secret. What appeared to be a standard one-car garage from the outside concealed a story that would soon capture headlines across the UK and spark a heated debate about property rights, regulation, and the innovative, if controversial, solutions to Britain's housing challenges. Enderby, a modest town in central England, has long been known for its careful balance of suburban comfort and rural charm. The 2007 housing development where our story unfolds was designed to maintain this character, with each property carefully planned to preserve the neighborhood's aesthetic appeal and functionality. Like all properties in the development, the home purchased by doctors Rita Harsula, 37, and Hamdi Al-Mazri, 39, came with strict planning conditions. Each house was required to maintain dedicated parking spaces and a garage. A common requirement in UK developments to prevent the narrow streets from becoming clogged with parked vehicles, the homeowners weren't your typical property developers testing the boundaries of planning law. Both Harsula and Al-Mazri were respected medical professionals, dedicated to serving their community through their work at local hospitals. Their professional status would later add an intriguing layer to the unfolding drama, raising questions about why such accomplished individuals would risk their reputation by circumventing planning regulations. In October 2015, local authorities received an unexpected tip that would unravel a carefully constructed facade. Something wasn't quite right at the doctor's property, the anonymous informant suggested. When Blaby District Council officials arrived to investigate, they found more than they bargained for. The first red flag was a series of tall fences, erected without permission, that effectively blocked the designated parking areas from view. Behind these barriers, they discovered an unauthorized access road leading straight onto a busy highway, a serious safety concern that immediately caught the officials' attention. But the real surprise waited behind a carefully positioned garage door. What the officials found was no ordinary garage conversion. The humble car storage space had been transformed into a fully functioning living quarters, complete with windows, a separate entrance, and all the amenities one might expect in a small apartment. The conversion was so well executed that it had remained undetected until someone tipped off the authorities. What followed was a 2-year saga of applications, appeals, and eventual prosecution that would reveal the complexities of British planning law and the determination of both sides to stand their ground. The doctors first attempted to legitimize their conversion through proper channels in July 2016, submitting a retrospective planning application that detailed their modifications. When that failed, they elevated their case to the National Planning Inspectorate in February 2017, hoping that a higher authority might see merit in their improvements. Both attempts were rejected, with planning officials citing multiple violations of local development guidelines. The core issues went beyond the simple conversion of the garage. The unauthorized road access onto a major highway posed safety concerns, while the removal of designated parking spaces threatened to exacerbate local parking problems, the very issue the original planning conditions were designed to prevent. By February 2018, the situation had reached its legal climax. In a hearing at Leicester Magistrates Court, which the doctors chose not to attend, the couple was fined approximately £1,000, with additional legal costs of £1,700 and a victim surcharge of £107. The total financial penalty, while significant, paled in comparison to the potential cost of restoring the property to its original condition. As media attention grew and public opinion began to crystallize, Dr. Harsula took to Facebook to present their side of the story. Her impassioned post, published on February 13, 2018, raised several compelling points that added complexity to what had initially seemed a straightforward case of planning violation. First, she challenged the media's characterization of the conversion, claiming it was merely a garden annex for personal use, not a separate dwelling as reported. The distinction was crucial. While both modifications would require planning permission, the creation of a separate dwelling would have far more serious implications for council tax, utilities, and insurance. More pointedly, she raised concerns about racial bias in media coverage, questioning why their case had received such intense scrutiny when thousands of similar council disputes exist across the country. Her post highlighted how what might appear to be a simple planning dispute could intersect with broader social issues and prejudices. The doctor's case, while remarkable, wasn't without precedent in central England. Other notable cases revealed a pattern of homeowners attempting to circumvent planning regulations through increasingly creative means. In Lichfield, Staffordshire, Roy and Val Coles successfully concealed an entire cottage for 8 years by disguising it as a barn. The luxury 2-bedroom dwelling, complete with camouflaged roof and hidden doors and windows, only came to light after an anonymous tip-off. Even more ambitious was the case of Robert Fiddler in Surrey, who spent 7 years building a full 4-bedroom castle behind massive stacks of hay bales. Fiddler's strategy was based on a legal theory that if a building stood for 4 years without complaint, it would become exempt from planning requirements. The courts ultimately rejected this interpretation, ordering the castle's demolition in 2015. Despite their protests and public defense, the doctors were given until mid-March 2018 to return their garage to its original state. Their case sparked intense public debate about property rights, with social media comments revealing deep divisions in public opinion. Some supporters questioned why homeowners couldn't modify their own property as they saw fit, while critics pointed out the potential chaos that could ensue if planning regulations were ignored. This story transcends its local origins to raise crucial questions about the balance between individual property rights and community regulations. In a country facing a persistent housing shortage, where creative solutions to living space are increasingly necessary, cases like this highlight the tension between personal initiative and public order. The garage conversion saga forces us to consider several challenging questions. Are planning regulations too rigid in an era of changing housing needs? How do we balance individual property rights with community interests? And perhaps most importantly, how can communities maintain order while allowing for innovation in housing solutions? What do you think about this complex case? Should homeowners have more freedom to modify their properties as they see fit? Or are strict planning regulations necessary to maintain community standards? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you encountered similar situations in your community? We'd love to hear your stories and perspectives on this fascinating intersection of property rights and public regulation. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories about property disputes, hidden spaces, and the sometimes bizarre world of real estate regulations. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos, exploring the strange and compelling stories hiding behind ordinary facades.